Please take your seats quickly, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
Hi guys, welcome to 1 Minute Tennis. Today I'm going to talk to you about the volley and specifically about the split step and the footwork of the volley. We've got an unusual take on how to make the footwork, but also the split step I want to split into two categories, pardon the pun. One is to explain the difference of the split step for the high-level performance players and the high-level juniors and the potential professional players, and then a variation of it that works for veteran and older players. Now at the highest level, and if we're working with high-level juniors hoping to reach their full potential in tennis, then the split step in the forecourt is very different to the split step in any other part of the court. The split step in other regions of the court is the smallest jump in the world, landing wide with an athletic stance, and we want to make that split step when the opponent hits the ball. But if you look at the doubles players or the singles players when they venture to the net, then there's a big variation in this, because timing that split step when the opponent hits the ball is almost impossible. It's too quick and there's too many variables as we move forwards and as we find our location on the court. So when the player is in the forecourt at the highest level, what you will see is them simply repeat the split step as fast and often as they can. So it's one and go, okay? Split, split, split and go. Split, split, split and go. Because they can't get the split timing right, so they might as well get it as close as possible using this alternative technique. Now that's great for pro players. That's great for some of the 11, 12, 13, etc. children that we're helping to develop their games. But many of the people watching this are in the older stages of tennis, over 40, over 50, over 60, and even over 70. So for that player who's over 70, they're not going to split step this way. It's going to be exhausting. It's really about, it's like running a business. It's about risk and reward. There's a high risk of becoming exhausted with a tiny reward of being a little bit quicker. This is stupid. But standing still is a disaster. Standing still, waiting for the ball and then moving is ponderous and slow. And there is a better way. So once you find your location on the court, whether it's singles or whether it's doubles, then when your partner or you hit the ball, then you take one step forward. So your partner hits the ball, you take one step forward and split. You hit the ball, you take one step forward and split. Now, if it's doubles and the opponent hits the ball and it's not to you, repeat it, but in reverse. One step back and split. If it's singles, you hit the stroke, one step forward, split, and then you'll move, because by the time you've made that step and split, the opponent will have hit the ball and given you the information on where to go. So this is the split step timing that's very different between veteran players, senior players and professional and tournament players. Professional tournament players, remember, making as many fast splits as they can, and at recreational level with a little bit older is we're going to step in, play the volley, step back and wait, step in. But in both situations we're avoiding the disaster of standing still. But then we have to make the correct footwork for the volley, and the correct footwork for the volley is, as you'll have seen in many videos online, is that we step across with the right foot for the backhand volley and we step across with the left foot for the forehand volley. But the difficulty of this is, unlike other footwork where on the ground strokes we pretty much want to set ourselves into position and then hit the ball. But with the volley, then the ideal situation is that the movement of the foot and the racket are synchronized as I step and hit at exactly the same time. Now, doing this, if it's not natural, is very slow to learn, because of course I've got to think down there at the same time as I'm thinking about an oncoming ball in the fastest part of the game. But there is a much easier way. If you can imagine that I'm like a puppet with strings, and I've got the string from my head and the string from my racket. Here's my racket head and here's my head. And let's imagine that as I take the racket back, those strings have got tangled. So as the racket goes forwards, I lean my head forwards. Oh, and the correct foot moves at the correct time in exactly the right fashion. I go to the backhand volley, and now I take the racket back, and oh, my strings of the head and the racket head have tangled, and now I lean forwards and my head follows the racket head forwards. Oh, and the correct foot moves at exactly the right time in exactly the right fashion. Quite simply, if you lean your head forwards to where you want the volley to go, then you'll find that you have the correct footwork every single time on every single volley. It really makes a big difference to how much power you can get on the volley. There's a saying that I often use in coaching, and that is, who's playing who? Are you playing the ball, or is the ball playing you? You see, if I'm standing still and I play a volley, the ball's playing me. If my head moves forward with the racket, then I'm playing the ball. Don't let the ball play you. You play the ball and see how successful it makes you at the net. Hope you enjoyed today's session. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel, please. Makes a huge difference to us. And remember, if you need more help with your game, we do an online tennis consultation service. It's video analysis, it's one-to-one lessons and a whole lot more. See you next time for more unique tennis lessons that really work.